Penuel the Black Pen. So I'm currently in the process of writing a follow-up parenting book, or a book on being a father. Now that I've got 12 years under my belt, 6 children later. It's a follow-up book because I've written a book before. It's called Parenting with Penuel. Hey, fuck these kids. So yeah, those are my 6 beautiful kids, as you can see. Nkunzi is my firstborn, Zulu is my secondborn, Africa is my third and my first daughter. Then comes Ushaga, then comes his youngest sister, Culture, she's my second daughter, and then the youngest, Uskupu, Unyana. So in this book, I don't speak about my experiences with Uskupu, but in the follow-up book that I'm currently writing, I do. And I'm hoping that by the end of November, I'll be done with the book, because I'm currently about 8, 9 chapters in. And I'm hoping to not do more than, I don't like having like really, really long books, especially because people don't have like a long attention span anymore. But I'm hoping to do 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe like 12, 13 chapters, you know. But I thought this was a great book. I don't think enough men write books on being fathers and fatherhood, especially from their experience. I mean, your book doesn't have to look like a textbook. You don't have to be a pediatrician. You don't have to be a gynecologist. You don't have to be a specialist in children. Just tell your story. You know, I think it could be life-changing. Let me just see some of the chapters that are here. Okay, I see there's introductions. Why do I want a big family? Having a baby is not rocket science. And that's the chapter I'm gonna read for you guys today. Babies are not meant to be expensive. And then how much does a baby cost? Where I kind of break down, in my opinion, and obviously based on when this book was released, the costs of having a child. And I have it tiered from like poor people, lower middle class, upper middle class, and then for the elite. Emotional support and therapy. What is a single mother? What is not a single mother? I think that's a pretty cool chapter. The African side of having children. Raising trained killers. Jeez, what is that even about? Family business. Kids need a little bit of violence. Letter to my unborn seed, written in 2010. The power of accumulated advantage, which is one of my greatest lessons, I think. Something very, very powerful for you guys to read. And then 2 chapters from Penuelism Principles, my belief system, education and parenting. Rich habits for your children, if you want your children to grow up and have money. The Chinese Mother by Amy Chua, which is an excerpt from a book about tiger moms, Asian mothers. Struggling with co-parenting. Unmarried parent, question mark, know your rights. I probably took this from articles online for people that want to learn. I think it's always nice to be educational. As much as this is like my own experiences, I always try to have some kind of educational element, and where I can reference, I obviously do, so people can learn. 2 chapters on maintenance and access. Some other important consideration points. Why some rich kids are depressed. So yeah, man, I've written a follow-up which now details my 12 years of experience with Nkunzi, my firstborn. I speak about his other siblings, how they came about, some of my fights, some of my wins. Speak about my last born, Uskupu, Unyanga, and just some of my thoughts around parenting, especially because now that I've got experience under my belt, now that I've spoken to a lot of parents, counseled a lot of fathers, I think I have something to share. I think I have something to talk about. And look, some of my thoughts have actually changed. From my firstborn, how I thought parenting would be, to my experiences and to where I am now. Like, my outlook has completely changed. And the fact that I've had experiences in courts, you know, dealing with maintenance issues, visitation and access, what's called primary residence, used to be called custody, not seeing my kids, seeing some of my kids, having some of my kids on TV, on print ads, kids that potentially had illnesses, yeah, man, and everything in between. So I think it's going to be a pretty dope book, and I'm going to be releasing it probably sometime in December, if not in January. So let me read this for you. I wrote it in 2019, July 2019. Having a baby is not rocket science. I'm currently watching an enlightening series on Netflix called The Beginning of Life, around babies, children, and parenting around the world. It's incredibly educational, emotive, and I can only assume that it would be very eye-opening for people who have not invested as much time in studying the various topics around parenting. I remember buying and reading pregnancy magazines every single month while expecting my firstborn, Nkunzi, to be born. I learned about babies with colic. I learned about VBACs, which is vaginal birth after cesarean, skin-to-skin bonding with babies. I learned about colostrum, various technologies, different diseases, etc. I became so skilled. Add to that, I dated a medical student for 4 years, and she developed in me a minor love and appreciation for medicine that I'd secretly been putting off ever since I first watched Dr. Oz on Oprah and watched a few episodes of Grey's Anatomy during varsity. Along with her personal stories, I started researching a lot of medicine, alternative medicine, watched medical shows, and watched medical procedures on YouTube. I was doing an informal PhD, and to date, I know so much more about medicine or about the health profession and medicine than most people. You can call me Dr. Penuel. Before I get sidetracked, this is why I'm writing this chapter. Raising babies does not have to be costly or difficult. I'm fascinated by how human beings have complicated life with their civilization and technology and other advancements. We have made our own lives difficult. I remind women all the time that 2 to 3 generations ago, our great or great-great-grandparents delivered babies at home with the help of their mothers, their sisters, or their aunts. No midwife, no gynae, no pregnancy supplements like Keller Preg and Mama Omega, no scans, no fancy private hospitals and hospital beds with buttons to summon nurses on duty, and no manufactured painkillers. I joke that giving birth is the most natural thing any woman can do. It's like taking a shit. Women's bodies are designed by nature to be pregnant and to deliver babies easily and naturally. Hospitals and gynecologists are actually what's unnatural. Interventions we've created that actually aren't a part of nature at all. Even worse, in South Africa, we're really privileged to have free healthcare. Pregnant mothers can deliver for free in public mother and child hospitals. Snobbish folk hate public hospitals, but that just speaks to their privilege that they aren't aware of. I have many friends who have delivered successfully and comfortably in public hospitals. Our own mothers delivered us safely in public hospitals, and today we turn our noses up at them, unaware of our arrogance and privilege. Just for interest, only 10% of Black South Africans have medical aid and use private healthcare. Many women in South Africa still deliver at home with the help of family. I remember a beautiful and strong older lady, Umantuli, whom I worked with at my first job post-varsity. She was well accomplished, she was well off, and rubbed shoulders with the who's who in politics and business. She'd had 3 boys that she had delivered at home. The first 2 with the help of a midwife, and the third on her own. Young women who listened to her story marveled at her like she was a superhero, an alien with supernatural powers. And sadly, in modern living, she is. Because she did the most natural thing, which is to give birth at home, the way it was intended. I'm convinced this is why mothers back in the day could easily pop 5 to 10 babies. They trusted nature. They trusted their super bodies. We don't do that anymore. We've become weak, and we've convinced ourselves that without modern interventions, our babies will die. That's fake news. So as a start, falling pregnant and having a baby in South Africa can be completely free if you wish. You can deliver at home or at a free public hospital. That already eradicates huge medical costs for a person who wants to have lots of babies and children. And then it follows up with a chapter that says babies are not meant to be expensive. And then the chapter after that, how much does a baby cost? So yeah, man, Parenting with Penuel, my first parenting book. I'm hoping to write a few more on these. If you want a copy, you can get it in PDF via your email. I sell them for 50 Rand each. If you'd like a hard copy like this one, you can get it for $100, and then you can pay for postage as well. But I've got 12 other books if you're interested. And I think at the bottom of this video, I'm going to put a link to the covers and the summaries of my books for you guys that may be interested in ordering them. And then you can email me, penelsbooks@gmail.com, and I can sort that out. I'm currently working with someone who's getting my books onto Amazon officially, and I'm trying to see if I can work on a streamlined system so that you guys can just click online and buy my books and get them couriered for you, or to you rather. We have technology so we can enjoy that. I'd like to implore and request that more and more of you, fathers in particular, but mothers as well, tell your story. You don't have to write a book like me. It may be a bit cumbersome, but I mean, you've got a phone. Tell your story. Put your video on Facebook. If it's short, 2-minute video, put it on Twitter, put it on Instagram, put it on TikTok, and just tell your stories. What it feels like to be a parent and a mom, so that we can have more and more people having opinions on what parenting is like for them. Penuel the Black Pen, man, I love and appreciate all of you out there who are present parents and who are doing best by your children. When you guys raise good, strong, intelligent children, you build a better society for all of us. And we love your kids. Have a great day. Cheers.